Hi everyone, also in my name. Jiv and I, we decided to do this dream team and invite everybody to join us. And it's been 2 weeks now, 2 months now that since we had this beta launch, we now call it 4 days of starting Daisy. And what I am totally impressed by is basically the fact that during these 2 months, even though there was no money coming in because the platform was not working, we were kept very much informed all the time by all the leaders, by everybody by the founders of the Daisy, by Anna Becker. I mean, I think we had at least one call every week. So I listened to pretty much all of them, and I would just like to summarize what's been said during this time, let's say the important things, so that we're all up to date before we officially open the doors, or how do they say it? So basically, the last call was, I think, on Wednesday or Tuesday. There's one planned for tomorrow, but the hour has not been, the exact time has not been advised yet. But basically, in the last call, it was we were told that the new smart contract has actually been broken down into 11 different smart contracts, all making up the whole system, and it's completed and it has been fully tested. So that part is ready. Also, the main difference that has been done and the main reason why the whole thing has taken so long is because when they started doing the transition and doing the change and got very professional outsourced IT teams, they realized that the previous smart contract was actually not really scalable for phase 2 and phase 3. So they decided to do also this scalability thing at this point, which means that when we reopen, we can then proceed to phase 2, phase 3, and we are ready to, keep going for years without any interruptions. And that's one of the main reasons why the pause has been longer than at the beginning anticipated. The web page interface between the smart contract and the users has also been completed and also tested. So we have, I don't know how often you log into your back office, but if you did, I think yesterday, it looked like, there was no Daisy Crown Fund because it was being migrated, and today it's back there. So I think also most of the migration has already happened or is in progress, and we expect to hear tomorrow what the final situation is. Basically, the relaunch was planned for either tomorrow or latest Monday. We'll hear tomorrow whether it is Monday or not, but we will have at least 24 hours before we actually officially open to really pre-plan and prepare. I hope it's not going to be again many hours on the couch waiting for this minute, but let's see what happens. And then the one big announcement which came in the last call is that everybody that has already joined and everybody that will be joining on the first day will actually have a 5-day grace period, meaning that all 10 matrices are open for whatever tier level you have contributed. People who will join on the second day will then have 4 days, third day, 3 days, and then it goes back to 48 hours. And basically from there on, whoever joins, whenever they join, it will be the 48-hour grace period in which all your generation levels of each matrix that you contribute to are open for maximizing your bonuses. Then the other really important change is that the smart contract now will be receiving funds and paying the funds out in USDT based on the Tron blockchain. So no longer the TRX token, but USDT. I will go into why this is good a little bit later. And then the other thing that has been communicated quite a lot And this link Jiva will post in the chat, but also it is this video is actually linked in our YouTube channel, so you can look at it. It would be a good idea, especially if you decide to have, you know, a few tier levels in your Tron link and go in quite seriously into DAISY, that you put a multi-signature shield onto your wallet, because there has been quite a few cases of fraud because people were not careful enough with their signatures and so on. So make sure that, you know, whatever you earn stays with you and doesn't go to somebody else. So let's look at the USDT TRC20. It's basically a stable coin which operates on the Tron blockchain, and 1 USDT equals 1 USD, so $1 American. But important thing is when you're buying it, make sure it's the TRC20, because there are many different USDTs, one for Ethereum, one for Bitcoin, and so on. We will be using it on the Tron blockchain, so you have to purchase or swap for TRC20. The reason they decided to do this is because there were quite a lot of problems with the fluctuating TRX value. Of course, everybody's happy when it grows, but you're not so happy when it falls, and you just want it to upgrade, and all of a sudden you don't have enough TRX in your wallet. Also, when Endotech got the first batch of money that they are supposed to, I mean, Trons that they were supposed to can you see me? Because I just got a message that my internet is unstable. It's okay?
We see you.
Okay. When they received the first funds, the TRX actually dropped. So basically, we started off with about 5% minus value when they started trading for us, which, you know, is better to be avoided. So basically, if we are working with the USDT, we know that $1 equals 1 USDT, and we have the exact amount in our wallet. And it's also easier to understand because most of us, I mean, you know, we pay our bills in fiat currencies. It's just easier to communicate, easier to understand. And then, of course, if you want to, you know, try your luck with the cryptocurrencies, everybody can do that, but only the ones that want to. Not everybody has to do it. So it's apparently the first smart contract that's actually based on a stable coin. And the good thing is that your wallet address, which was now for your TRX, actually stays exactly the same. There is nothing needs to be done. The only thing is when you will first time log into your back office on the DAISY platform, you will be asked to confirm that you agree with the change from TRX to USDT, and that will be it. So the tier funding, your registration or upgrades, and all the earnings from the crowd fund and from when you pay out your profits from the trading, everything will be done in the TRC20 USDT. But the transaction fees, so, you know, paying in and paying out of the smart contracts, are still done and will for the time being be done in Tron, because it is a Tron blockchain, which means that you do need to keep some TRX in your wallet. Approximately 50 per transaction. So, you know, depending on how many upgrades you want to do, keep at least 50 for each upgrade, which means basically keep probably a few hundred just in case. It's not that big a deal. It's equivalent of a few US dollars, but if you don't have the TRX, you will not be able to upgrade even if you have enough USDT. If you already have some TRX in your wallet, just swap it for the USDT. It's very easy. If you don't have it, you can purchase it and then transfer it to your Tron link. Again, this is the link to a video which explains all this in detail, done by Avi, and it is also linked in our YouTube channel in the playlist latest information, I think. But Jiva will say, again, just post the link in the chat if you want to copy it now. I suggest you look at it so that when things are ready to run, you are ready to roll. If any of you have serious problems, let us know, and maybe we then do just a call on which we go into detail, but I think it's better not to do it now for everybody because most people know how to do this. If anybody has any questions or anything, just feel free to jump in. I mean, you know, I'm happy to explain things in more detail if I'm not clear enough. Anyway, you probably heard that Endotech has published their white paper, their vision of how DAISY is to roll out and what is the whole point of DAISY. This is just a very, well, one paragraph from their outlining the goal that they have, but basically this translated into a very simple sentence. It's Dr. Anna's dream and vision to understand basically the global map of money flow. So how the different social factors, economic factors, political factors, tweets from Elon Musk, and so on, actually influence what is happening with the, you know, markets of cryptocurrencies, forex, commodities, the whole thing. That is what they want to do, and use that information so that their artificial intelligence, which already is yielding amazing results, will be able to improve their current results by up to 4 times by being better at predicting what is a good time to buy and what is a good time to sell. If you have not gone on the Telegram channel, I would suggest look at this address. It's basically Endotech's channel where they post nearly every day their performances on various algorithms that they're already using. I think you will be extremely impressed by the results. And if the goal is to improve those results by 4 times, I think we are in the right place at the right time. The other thing that Dr. Anna is stressing out in every single call is that they really, really want full transparency. The crowdsourcing part of the DAISY project is on Tron blockchain. So we get the full transparency there automatically. If you want to, you use TronScan and you can see exactly what happens with every single contribution and with every single payout. But for the trading part, that's not the case, obviously. But they have decided that they will actually hire one of the top global audit companies, which will be doing a monthly audit report for every single member. So we will know, we will have it confirmed that what the results that we see in our back office are the real results of the real trading. I think if you looked into your back office in the recent days, you would have seen that actually the last few week or so, the trading has not been that great. We dropped from about 30 to 15%, which, you know, in my opinion, just 100% proves that what we see is the live trading, is the actual results. Nothing is being hidden from us, because, you know, if we know that we're going live in a few days, of course it would be best to have the best results possible right now. But they show us exactly what is going on. In most of the calls where Anna Becker was on the call, she actually logged into our DAISY Binance accounts and she was showing us live trading as per se. And, you know, they will be constantly updating, and they are constantly updating on this Telegram channel. And they have they will be looking for ways to show us as much as possible of what is going on behind the scenes, but of course at the same time being careful enough not to show too much so that somebody doesn't piggyback on, you know, their hard work by trying to duplicate or whatever, what they are doing somewhere else. So we will have the audits, but also, you know, hands-on look into what is actually going on. They actually promised to even teach us if we want, so they will be having webinars and stuff, so that we, you know, are not just investing, that we understand into what we are investing. So I think they're really trying to make us clever in this field, which I totally appreciate, because on the 1st of January, when Jiva introduced me to this project, I didn't have a clue what we are talking about. So it's been a steep learning curve, the whole thing. The other thing that is probably one of the reasons we are here is that the vision of Endotech is not to have some big corporate, you know, investors gaining from their knowledge. They actually want everyday people, us, the smaller, you know, retail people, to gain from the profit. And the fact that people can join with just $100 and make money from $100 is really impressive. So basically what has before been reserved really just for the large corporations and the people with, you know, hefty bank accounts is now available to the masses. And I listened to one of the webinars when a guy from Nigeria said, you know, that for the first time the African nation feels like democracy came to them, because everybody, it doesn't matter if you are in Europe or in Asia or in Africa, everybody has exactly the same chance with DAISY. And it felt good to be part of something that gives everybody an equal opportunity. Because, you know, you can become a gold pace setter or a leader with literally just the $100 investment. You don't have to have more than that to build your team and profit from there and earn from there and then upgrade. And basically, it's a model. This is a sentence that Jeremy said last night. It's a model where there are no casualties. It's made so that everybody wins, and everybody wins long term. And, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen a project where even when it's shut down for 60 days, everybody's still winning, because we are all making profit on the trading that Endotech is doing for us, even though right now there is no money coming in already for 2 months because the platform has been shut down. So the long-term vision is actually to maximize on the profit potential while minimizing the risk. And they will do that by adding new markets. Right now we are only, Endotech is only trading in cryptocurrency, but in phase 2, they plan to go into Forex, which is actually where they started in 2012. So they are extremely experienced at that. They were trading Forex and commodities before they started trading crypto. But phase 2 will be Forex, and that will allow us to, or that will allow them to do high frequency trading, to do, you know, trading more times every day. Because when you're talking about crypto trading, you're actually talking more of trend trading, which can, you know, take weeks or months, or no trading for months because it's not a good time to trade. But in Forex, it's high frequency trading. And then the third phase is commodities. So at that point, the artificial intelligence will actually be always able to move our money into the market that at that point is optimum for trading. Because in crypto, you can have months where it's really, really hard to make any profit, because either nothing is happening or it's extremely volatile, and either case scenario is not good time to trade. On one of the webinars, when Dr. Anna Becker and Edward were talking, they told us that in one of the next phases, probably already in phase 2, a hedge fund will be created for DAISY, and that will actually allow us to get access to our 50 or 70% of the crowdfunding contribution, which is at the moment in the trading accounts of Endotech. Because at this stage, we are not investing into trading, we are funding the AI development by DAISY. So we are contributors, we are not investors. And by law, if you're a contributor, you cannot take back your contribution. But when they make the hedge fund out of this, our contributions, then they actually turn them into investments. And at that point, we will be able to withdraw that money. So basically, that's an even bigger plus, which has been suggested it will happen pretty soon, but of course not in this stage when we are crowdfunding. At this stage, we are getting equity and we are getting the profit rewards. And then in the second stage, when the hedge fund is launched, we will be able to even get the original investment or contribution back if we want. And one other thing that happened in January, and I think is huge, to just realize that, you know, we are in the hands of one of probably the best trading companies in the world, because they are actually, Endotech is actually the Gemini institutional partner, and they're listed on the Gemini webpage. And it's, I think, a title which does not come easily. They have worked very hard for it. And, you know, their plan is to become a public trading company within a year. And that's when we become the shareholders of this company. I mean, for everybody that joins in this first phase of the project. And I think that's probably the biggest bounty, which we don't even realize how big it is right now. So the first 4 days from, what was it, 15th of January or 11th of January to the 15th of January, we now call the beta launch, basically, let's say, a testing phase, which showed that amazing results can be achieved, but the platform was definitely not ready, and the smart contract was too heavily burdened by all the different transactions that were going on. So the technical issues basically prevented most of the desired upgrades. Apparently more than 500,000 upgrades or transactions timed out and didn't go through, which means that a lot of people are really waiting now to either register or to upgrade. And the most important, it's probably not new information, but I learned last night about it in a way that kind of led me to ask more questions. And then Avinash was very kind to invite me to a call this afternoon and explain into detail that what I understood yesterday is really true, which means that each tier, when you fund it, so, you know, you start with $100 fund and you enter your matrix, you lock in a position in the first matrix. 52,000 people managed to do that within the first 4 days. From this 52,000 people, only 22,253 managed to upgrade to the $200 tier. But this means that these 22,000 people are now making a new matrix a new composition of the matrix in the next tier. And for tier 3, which is the $400 contribution, only 12,800 people managed. $800 contribution for the matrix 4, only 7,000 people managed. 5, only 3,700. 6, only 1,791 people managed to actually make the contribution for $3,200. 7, seventh tier, only 838, and then 362, 133, and 78 people only right now are in the matrix of level 10. That means that when the doors open and we start upgrading, if you want to go high, you are really compressing up to the very, very, very top. So the spillover that will be happening under all these numbers in a big way. And before I understood that it's a one matrix and everybody has their own position, and, you know, when it compresses, it just means it skips you. But actually, we build new matrix on every single tier level. And that just means that when we have this 5-day full matrix bonus, it really will allow us to, monetize really the most in the next 5 days after the launch. Jiva, do you want to start maybe the video that, does anybody maybe have a question or anything in the meantime?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
So there is separate matrices for each tier. Will you always follow your sponsor when you go into the next tier? Will you always land in your sponsor's matrix? And in the case where your sponsor has not upgraded, you will go into the next matrix in the first available spot. What happens with the sponsor when he upgrades?
This is exactly what Avi explained to me in great detail. So we'll just run the video, and I think you will see it so clearly drawn out that it's no point in me trying to explain it now. But if by any chance the question is not answered by the video, I'll do it afterwards.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Super. Right. So when someone joins, they have to purchase tier 1, which is $100. They now appear in the first matrix. There's 10 different matrix. So if we take an example right now, Avi, let's say Halim, let's say Eva, and let's say Jeremy. That's my 3 people that I've introduced person. Now the next person I introduce would go here under Halim. But if Halim has already got his one person there, the next person I introduce goes under Eva here. If Eva, you already had your first person here, then it goes under Jeremy. But if Jeremy already had one person, let's say here, and I'm placing someone, now it will go here, the second leg of Halim. So it goes one leg at a time. But what happens is, just to go back to Halim's question before we go more deeper into your question, Eva, is a lot of people get confused, Halim, thinking, hey, if Avi has, let's say, 3,000 people, well, there should be 1,000 here, 1,000 here, 1,000 here. Not at all. Here's why. Because let's say H1, E1, J1 was by me, my directs. They've come under one under Halim, one under Eva, one under Jeremy. What happens if this person does not do anything? This person does not do anything, but J1, he goes and builds with multiple leaders and he brings 5,000 people. Looking at just those 6 people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and no one does anything else. J1 goes and brings 5,000 people. Guess what? I have 5,006 people in my team. But there's 2 on this leg, 2 on this leg, 5,002 on this leg. So the legs will not be balanced because the 3,000 people that I have under me, for example, they are not all sponsored by me. They're sponsored by different people. So depending who's fallen where in the matrix, there will be what we call imbalance. But eventually, if your upline and your upline and your upline is building, it will end up balancing itself, because now when this is filled up, any person that I'm now bringing from me is either going to fall under Halim or under Eva. A lot more before even anyone going that side, because that side is already being built. So Halim, coming back to the numbers and the expectation, spillover is something that I know leaders like you do not expect it, but it's always a bonus. But here's the thing. There are some people that will receive spillover first, others that will receive spillover after. There's some that will receive more initially and less after, or less initially and more after. But eventually, provided you are in a team that's building, your upline is building, in the matrix upline I'm talking about, eventually, because it has to fill up in order, if you see here, the green part's already filled up. So everything that's coming from me, from above me, from anything in between me and you, Alim, or me and you, Eva, although Eva is not in our organization, well, it will fill up these. before even putting someone here because that's already filled up there. So it will eventually balance itself out. So because we don't know, with the matrix, when we started, let's say Avi, and let's say I've got 3 people here, 3 people here, we don't know exactly where anyone fall. Hey, potluck, this could be Eva, or let's say Halim, keeping in the same structure, and Eva. Check this out, Halim, maybe 2 of my people fall in there, maybe even 3. And maybe they're slow builders. They put 2 people, they put 3 people, they put 6 people. And only 1 I put under Eva because she put 2 herself, but that builder, I didn't put it specifically under Eva. It's just in order that the matrix place it. And this person goes and brings 500 people in 1 week. Suddenly, I have 3 of my people under you, only 1 under Eva, but that leg has built more. There's more people under that leg of Eva. It's just potluck, but eventually balances itself out. So coming back now, if I clear this, coming back to matrix tier 1, Avi, Halim, Eva, Jeremy, that's everyone who's contributed $100. That's where we're getting paid, you know, $3 and $4 for everyone that falls into your matrix tier 1. Now, at the time that each people who's already purchased tier 1 purchases their tier 2, they go in matrix tier 2, which is $200. That's where we get paid $6 and $8, 3% and 4%. Now, here's how it works. Let's say in this simple example, H1, H2, E2, sorry, J3. So now let's just assume here, Avi, I took my tier 2 straight away. So I appear in that matrix tier 2. Let's say Halim, you took straight away as well, H. You're there. Eva, let's say you did not purchase tier 2. Okay. Jeremy purchased tier 2. Here's what happened. It will look at who sponsored Jeremy, Avi. Jeremy purchased it. It will come to my tier 2 matrix. It will look at Avi. Where is the next available spot in my tier 2 matrix? Because I sponsored Jeremy, which is now here in the middle. So Jeremy comes here. Now, let's say the next person between these 3 now, let's say your person, Eva. This person purchases tier 2. It will look up, Eva, you're not in tier 2. Who's your sponsor? In this example, me. Now it will look to me and say, where's my next available spot in tier 2? E2 will become here on my matrix. Does not mean it's my direct. The matrix has nothing to do with personal organization because you get paid same amount on the matrix, whether it's from you or someone else. You have not paid tier 2, you cannot earn there, someone else will. It compresses, so it becomes here. Now let's say next, J3 purchases tier 2. Well, J3 was sponsored by J, so it would go here. But here's the beauty, that's here where J3 will go. Now let's make an assumption that J3 was actually sponsored directly by Avi, but it fell under Jeremy. When J3 purchases tier 2, Jeremy is not the sponsor, I am. So it will look at this tree right now here, it will say, where is the next available spot for Avi, not for Jeremy, because I'm the sponsor. Right now, it's under Halim. So on tier 2, someone who's under Jeremy on matrix tier 1 can now become under Halim on matrix tier 2, which essentially means the faster people upgrade, the more spillover they will eventually see, because it's a cross-lateral movement looking up to the sponsor. Now, the question here is, Eva, what happened now if you now, in this example, you were to decide Okay, now you're going to upgrade to tier 2.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this tree. Right now, Eva, you were sponsored by Abby. So you will look at me. Where is my next available spot in my matrix tier 2? In this example, it's here. So Eva, you would now go here. And that means some people say, hey, does that mean I lost my person? You never lost your person. Your people in your personal organization is always in your personal organization. You didn't lose anything because that person was in the matrix before you. But sometimes that can be a blessing in disguise because you could fall here now, Eva. Jeremy could be a huge builder and he starts putting a lot of people on tier 2 that falls under you after you. And now you're earning on those because they're falling in your matrix. But here's what happened. What about matrix tier 3? If you, Eva, you upgraded to tier 3 because before your downline. Let's say you were the first. Now you become Eva here. And let's say Halim and Jeremy upgraded. And let's use the example where Jeremy, J3 was sponsored by me. Or in fact, so if we go, yes, J3 was sponsored by me. And let's say the next person to upgrade now is J3. Here, he now upgrades to tier 3. I'm the sponsor, Avi. It will look at Avi, where is the next available spot? Check this out. Now it's under you, Eva, okay? And let's say this next person to upgrade Eva is E2. This one, which was your personal. Because now you already appear in the tree, it will look not at my matrix, but at your matrix because you're the sponsor. Where is the next available spot in your matrix, Eva? It's right here. So although now Halim has 0 person under him, but you're getting a second person because that's from your personal organization. You will, as long as you are in a matrix, you never lose anyone from your personal organization in that matrix.
So if I understand you correctly, Ali, you could potentially have your sponsor from matrix 1 fall underneath you in matrix 2, or not even underneath you because they would be placed wherever. Mm-hmm. But if they then upgrade before you for the next level, you would again fall under them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct. That's why a lot of people choose to upgrade to the higher tier than their sponsor, because they're technically moving up in the compression of the higher level matrix. Like you saw, right now on matrix tier 10, there's only 78 of us now, not because people, there's many other people who I know who couldn't upgrade, but those 78, some of them could have been in matrix 1, they could be like my 9th level, who knows?
Yeah.
But they are in the first 4 levels of the matrix currently, of the tier 10, which means globally from me and my team, whoever starts upgrading to tier 10 eventually, they're going to start seeing some spillover, even people who are above them in matrix tier 1. That is why I say it will always eventually start balancing itself. But the numbers, hey, if we just do a third one, the numbers, let's say A, B, C, D. E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Let's say person A sponsored these 12 people. It's a perfect matrix. First generation, second generation is full. Does that mean B, C, and D have the same number of people? Right now, yes, they have 3 people in their matrix each. Now, the numbers that they will eventually have, who will have more people between B, C, and D, it's got nothing to do with A, because A, the matrix just fills up automatically to balance it out. What it depends on is their effort here, B's effort, C's effort, D's effort, and the effort of the people who fell underneath them, whether from themselves, their team, or from a spillover. That's what become their strength. Because from me, guess what? Only every 3 people that I put in, 1 will fall under each of them. From each of them, everything that C puts in, everything from their personal is always going to fall within their network. Everything on the tier that H, I, and J falls under C will always fall under their network, will never go cross-line. So when someone is, let's say, person C, when they look at spillover, they need to look at who is working underneath them, even from those who are from A. That's what it depends. So technically, Halim, coming back to you a bit more now, it is potluck because we don't have a way of saying, hey, I want Halim there, I want this one here, I want this one here, I want this one to go under Halim. Apart from on Matrix Generation 1, we were able to do that. Remember, there was some pre-placement, Halim, as you know, on Matrix Generation 1. We done that. Not Generation 1, sorry. Matrix Tier 1. But from Tier 2 onwards, it's potluck. If we look at the figures that were shown yesterday, so if I look at Tier 8 or 7, let's say, there's only 838 people that was able to upgrade up to Tier 7 so far. A lot of them could not. You know, the problems we were having with signing up people, with upgrading. So imagine, out of 50,000 people, there's only 838 right now on Tier 7. Now, let me explain the structure of the company. There's the company. There's the 3 founders, founder 1, founder 2, founder 3. Let's say that's Jeremy, for example, right? And under Jeremy, there's Avi, and there's 2 and 3. So if I was to say, on average, there's 9 legs. There's 838 people. That means under me, if I was to go just by average, there's about 93 people under me who's on Tier 7. Now, I have 3 legs straight away. That means there's average of 31. It's never balanced, of course, but there's an average of 31 people in each my leg, which are Tier 7. And let's say underneath that, so there's 10, 10, and 10. So right now, there's huge numbers of people still yet to upgrade that could and would fall under everyone eventually. Some is more at the start, some more after. But the spillover hasn't really happened from my perspective. Now, global spillover, look, on our call, Alim, we've always said, look, we are not relying on anyone. Me and we, our team, we will make our spillover. And we've done that. I mean, yesterday I spoke to someone, and this is a small example. He only was able to upgrade to Tier 2, $300. He was only able to put 1 person in on Tier 2. So it cost him $300. He made $1,900. The person he sponsored no one. So he made 5% of $300, which is 15. He got $4 and $8 from that person on the matrix. That's 12 and 15, $27. He made nearly $2,000. That's purely from overspill, from spillover. Now, does it mean because I gave him more spillover than someone else or vice versa? No, it is just potluck. Maybe from spillover, maybe from me, he got 1 person, but maybe that person built a team of 500 people. That's how it goes. But eventually, as everyone we're bringing, it's pretty much leaders and leaders and leaders and leaders. As you know, Halim, we've not stopped working like you, like your leaders. So there's going to be a big balance off on the spillover. Those who receive more at the start will receive less later. Those who receive less now will probably receive more later, and it eventually balances itself off. So over to you guys. If there's any question, anything that needs further clarification, I just wanted to make sure that we clarify how the matrix or matrices, 10 different matrices work. And that was key.
For me now, it's crystal clear. Yes, I don't have any question.
I would have just one question because I would not be feeling happy if I don't. It's just me, Avi. I think you gathered this from our communications. No, just, you know, when you look into your back office, you see how many people are in your matrix. Will you be able to see how many people are in your matrix for each tier, or just like generally from tier 1?
From what I understand, you will be able to see each tier, how many people are there.
Okay.
And it may, don't hold me to that, but it may even show on which level is your next available spot, which would help us a lot because a lot, because Halim, for example, then we can start actually putting some strategy. Because look, Halim, you know me, I want to help everyone in my team, in my organization. I mean, we're helping so many
outside.
Yeah,
you're an angel.
You know, I'm happy to do that because for me, it's all about just helping people. That's what this industry is about. You know, along the way, many years ago, I think greed took over, and that real factor of the MLM industry got lost somewhere. And I don't want to get lost within that greed. And don't get me wrong, I'm here to make as much money as possible. If I deny that, I'm a liar, right? But I want to do it by helping as many people as possible. Mm-hmm. So yes, I believe there will be a lot more reporting than we were able to have access. On day 1, I'm sure you may have noticed, Eva, of the launch, or when we even pre-sign up, Halim, we were able to see initially how many people on each level at the start. And it was even showing a drawing, but some of the information was not correct. And that's what was one of the reasons that the site crashed, because it has to pull that data live from the blockchain. And the way it was coded, instead of that data being pulled live on the server, so the smart contract only connects to the server to pull up information, display information, it was pulling it live directly from the blockchain. And imagine when 20,000 people is logging in and is connecting to the same blockchain, trying to pull information at the same time or simultaneously, that's what was making the whole system to crash. And that's how we blew up the servers. Yeah.
Which is a good thing, really. Because
yes, it's a brilliant thing what we did. But it's just like, look, let's face it, as much as, yes, it's been, some parts of it has been good, it's given us more time to prepare, but we all wish there was that we didn't have this stop, because we had crazy momentum. You know, a lot of people ready to go now. A lot of people, there are some people who's gone cold, who's like unsure. And I understand, you know, not everyone has the pioneering vision. Not everyone, you know, right now, if I say to everyone, hey, if you could go back to in the 1990s and were given 10% of Amazon shares, would you have liked to take that? Yes. Well, if I said to them, in 1994, July, when Amazon started as an online bookstore, if I told you, you need to pay some money to get 10% of this company, but they would not sell a single book for the next 1 year and 6 days, most people would have said, no, I don't want to invest my money in that. That's the challenge. People want to make money now. Now, it's easy to make a decision after the events already happened. Everyone now says, man, if someone told me about Bitcoin in 2009, I would have bought it. Well, someone told you last year you never bought it, or 5 years ago you never bought it. What makes you think you would have it in 2009?
And I didn't sell.
Exactly. So, but that is the mentality of people, right? It's all of us, human nature. But so it's not everyone who has the pioneering vision. They are there. They're on the fence, waiting. They want to see it launch. They want to see it run smoothly. But you know, I always believe these kind of people they procrastinate a lot. And here's what's going to happen. They're going to say, I want to see it launch. When you go back to that same person, that's why I don't go to those person. I'll tell you what I've done. When you go back to these people, when we launch, they say, I want to see it run for a few days first. When you see it run for a few days, they say, I want to see how much spillover I get first. When they get the spillover, they'll be like, I want to withdraw my profits first. When they withdraw their profits, they will find something else. Oh, I want to see consistent profit for 3 months first. Next thing you know it, they'll be like, I missed the boat, it's too late.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome.
Really, really appreciate it, because I've had a headache all day trying to figure this one out myself.
No problem at all. Halim?
Okay, so basically, this is where we were then, you know, these were the numbers that Avi was then talking about, that, yeah, in the top matrices, there are really still very, very, very few people. And those who want to make the most of DAISY at the very start still have a huge opportunity to be pretty much at the very top, even though the project started in January. Reguna, do you want to add anything, or does that make sense now?
It makes sense. I'm just wondering about in each tier, because we have the 3x10 matrix each, but it's part of a larger matrix. Is that correct to say that I have a 3x10 based on where I'm placed, and other people have their 3x10 based
Exactly.
on where they're placed?
Yeah.
But how many people are in the huge matrix, like the one that starts with the founder and goes all the way down? Because there could be like 1 million people there.
Exactly, and that will be my next slide.
Right, okay, sorry.
Future expectations. So in our beta launch, we did what has never been done before in the peer-to-peer market, in the network marketing, in everything in the first 4 days, and that was pretty much a broken platform. Basically 50,000 people joined, and they brought in about $50 million in 4 days. And if you look at this number and you multiply it in 40 days, it will be about 500,000. In 80 days, it could be 1 million, but let's, you know, say 120 days or maybe 4 months. I mean, not million, billion, will hit the 1 billion mark, and that will mean that this company could potentially be the fastest company to reach $1 billion after launch. And that will actually mark end of phase 1. That will mark end of being able to get Endotech's shares, which is why I think it's another really big and important thing to stress out, that this is a very, very good time to try and crowdfund as much of DAISY AI development as you possibly can afford to. And, you know, if you start earning nicely in the next few days, put it back in and earn even a little bit more. We managed to get 50,000 members join in the first 4 days. And yes, Jeremy predicted yesterday that the number could be 1 million within the next 6 months. And basically it means that, yes, for each level, I mean, for each matrix tier, we have about 88,000 people in it. Potentially our 10 matrix, if you have all 10 of them, is, what's that, 8,800,000? I mean, I don't even know how to do the math, but it's huge. that's all I can figure out. So this project is expected to break every record in the industry. I mean, that is one of the major foundations of the vision of the 3 founders, and be the fastest company to reach 1 billion. And we can make this history together. And that's why, oh, okay, that was not correctly. So I'll just do this and go from here. What's important to know is that the trading results that we see in our back office under the fund part of the back office are actually showing live trading profits or live trading results, but the update is done once an hour, because if it was running live, it would be too heavy on the smart contract. The profits payout will be available pretty much as soon as we open the gates, not on the exact moment, because they want to first let everybody register and upgrade before they put the extra stress on the smart contract. So basically that the upgrades and the registrations can be done as fast as possible, and for as little TRX as possible, because they will, the faster they are, the less they cost us. And then as soon as this big first wave is behind us, and everything is 100% good and stable, they will also open the pay.
Telefonnotat.
Sorry?
Hon har snackat med han.
Somebody's not muted. Okay, no problem. So yeah, it will not be from the moment we open the doors, but very, very, very soon after that. And the payout will be done in such a way that there will always be a payout pool, which will be some funds reserved and not in the trading. They are there so that we can request our payout. And if there is a lot of money in that pool, the request payout button in our back office will be green. I don't know if it will look like this, but basically Anna Becker says it will be green. And that means that as soon as you hit it, you have probably your money in your Tron wallet, your USDTs within 2 hours or even faster, could be within milliseconds, but let's say 2 hours. And if it's orange, it means that most of the money is in trading because it's good time for trading, and they need to sell some positions, and that could take a few hours to maximum 2 days. So, you know, they of course don't want to keep everything there for payout, because then they're not trading and they're not making money for us. But that's basically how we will know how fast we can get the money out. People have been asking me, okay, how do we actually then get the money, you know, to buy something with it? Well, the easiest way probably will be to open an account with Binance or one of the other platforms which offer you a Visa card or something like that. Of course, if the funds will be, once we earn more than what we want to spend on using a credit card, then you can always arrange a bank transfer, or I'm sure we'll find other ways as well. Let's say those will be the sweet issues that we have to deal with at a later stage. But, you know, we have, oh, here it is, my Binance card. It's here, ready to go. Just thought I'd share that. The other thing that's really important to realize is that if you don't request a payout of your profits, it is actually staying in the pool, and the Endotech is still working with your money to make more money. So we call this automatic compounding interests. And the longer you put it in, leave it in, of course, the bigger the long-term rewards are, because it means that they're actually trading with more money than just your initial contribution. But they will be, even if we don't want to withdraw any money because we want to keep on trading and making as much as possible, there will be an automated, it's encoded into the smart contract, 30% profit payout every time that the return on investment is 300%. So basically, if you put in $100, when it reaches $300, you will get 30% of that automatically paid out, 15 to you and 15% to the, or I'm not sure exactly about that, forget about that. But there will be a payout in that case, or if 300% is not achieved within 6 months, then a payout will be made every 6 months. And it is set to 30% of whatever profit has been made in that time period. This is done for two reasons. One, that people are more engaged, and two, because we have the passive income from the uni-level bonus, and they want to make sure that everybody earns on that, because if your downline structure would be all people who want to make money long-term, then there would be no uni-level bonus for you. So in this way, we know that everybody will get a uni-level bonus at least twice a year. I mean, we know there is no guarantee, because we have to remember that we are in high risk, high profit market, and there is a possibility that at some stage there will be no profit, there will only be loss, but probably, you know, rain is always followed by sunshine and blah, blah, blah. And then the other change that has been made in the smart contract, which will just influence the way we receive the bonuses, but not their generation, is that the Pacesetter Gold and the Pacesetter Leadership Bonus, they will not be paid out automatically every time that there is an upgrade or a new registration, or every time that the profits are withdrawn, but these contributions, the 1.8 and 1.2%, will be made into two separate pools, one for the Pacesetter Gold and one for the Pacesetter Leaders. And those who qualify for those bonuses will be able to basically, from their back office, withdraw whenever they want to. It can be every 5 minutes, it can be once a day, it can be every week or whatever. The money will be there reserved for them. It will just not be transferred every single time, because that created far too much traffic on the smart contract. It timed it out and it became basically overburdened and slow and expensive. So it's just an optimization step to make the smart contract run as smooth as possible. I would just like to look at this screen from the presentation briefly, because I think it's really important to know that even though maybe bringing in 24 people, minimum of 24 people within the next 30 days that contribute in total minimum of $128,000 is not small. It is also not that big a deal. But if you manage it, the rewards are really amazing. It means that you become, as a Pacesetter Gold, part of really the whole global community, profiting from every single person that contributes, either by becoming a new registered member or by upgrading their tiers. You also profit from the 1.25% pool of all the trading profits, and additional 5% of the shares from end of stock will be shared amongst everyone that qualifies for Gold Pacesetter bonus. So I think it's probably a really, really good idea to invest time in the first 30 days to try and unlock the 10th generation. But even if you don't, whatever you do manage to do in the first 30 days, the smart contract unlocks an additional generation level for you, which stays with you for the rest of the time, which means basically you are earning on so many more people for every tier that you purchase. So what we do from the moment that the doors open for the first 30 days is really key. And in the last slide, we'll discuss on how we can help each other to really make the most of it, because I think every single one person on this call is good at something and loves doing something. And if we just all bring together our talents, then we can make this a success for everybody. And basically, this really means that the whole world is working together. So, you know, Avi was helping me today, as you see, greatly, but I'm not his downline, or at least not in Matrix 1. You know, was willing to just take time out and just help us. And if you manage to do this, or if you don't, it doesn't matter. You can help others do this. And if you manage to help 3 people in your structure become Gold Pacesetters, and this has no time limit. So this has to be done within the first 30 days. This can be done whenever. But if you do manage this, then there is another pool, which again has 1.8% of all the global crowdfunding, so all the money coming in, and 1.25% of all the global trading profits being paid out, that is divided between people who qualify for this. And you actually qualify for every time you manage to get 3 people to help 3 people to become Gold Pacesetters. So you can actually be present in this pool with more than 1 share. If you manage 6, you actually have 2 shares of the total. If you manage even more, well, yeah, then you are crazy. Next steps. We've set up the Telegram channel. This is the link. Gio will post it in the chat again. You can upload the app, or you can have your web version. Daisy Global and Endotech also have their channels. It's really a very, very good way of following everything that's going on. This will be our #1 medium for posting all the updates, all the important information. But we also have a Messenger group, which you are all members of now already, and also a WhatsApp group for chats and questions, because the Telegram channel that we close, so it's not a chatty one, so that, you know, the information is there and you can always find what you're looking for. But the WhatsApp and the Messenger groups are for discussions and everything else. I think what Avi is doing, which is having, and I know Per Gunnar, you also have it, but sadly that one I don't understand because it's Norwegian. But, you know, we would like to do also English regular Zoom meetings where everybody can invite their own potential new members. And, you know, we help each other to really make sure that people who want to join understand what the project is all about, go through the presentation, answer questions, and basically help each other to build our networks. Of course, it goes without saying that every new member is told to use the referral link from the person who invited them to one of these webinars or meetings, or basically, you know, respect the contact sponsor. We've mentioned a couple of times already today that we have this Daisy Dream Team YouTube channel, and all the videos that and the presentations that we find all over the place. I'm trying to put links to the most important ones in the different playlists here, so that you can find everything in one place. You can of course find them in other places as well, but if you want to find it easier, they are all in one place. Things that we've talked about now, they're all there, and as we make presentations and as we record them like this one, we'll also just post them into this YouTube channel, so you can always refer to them when you need them. And then don't forget that there is the Daisy Global webinar collection in 12 different languages on the daisycrowd.com, which is the official Daisy webpage. And, you know, if you have people in other parts of the world who are not so so fluent in English or whatever, you have it there in Spanish, Vietnamese, Chinese, Arabic, you name it. So there's really no reason why all of us cannot, you know, literally go through our brains and phones and Facebook accounts and whatever else, and just make a list of all the contacts that you want to tell about this, and at least make sure that, you know, at no point in the future will they be able to say to you, why didn't you tell me, now that you're enjoying your time wherever, and they are still working really hard at a job that they don't really like that much. Let's hope not many are, but still this is an opportunity that I definitely want to share with people, and I'm sure you do as well. Jana, was your question answered? I mean, it was a very long answer, so maybe I'll just do a short summary. Yeah. Basically, in the first part of Daisy, we are now funding the Daisy AI development. So we need to raise $10 million for that. In the first 4 days, 1 million was already raised, so 10% of the first phase goal is achieved. How long it will take to raise the 90% still missing, we're all guessing. It could be 1 week, it could be 1 month, it could be 2 months, but basically after we do that, this phase is finished. And that means no more Endotech stocks, and we go into phase 2, which is Forex, and then phase 3. But, you know, it's basically at the moment we are contributing for development of the Daisy AI. What the goal of the next one, crowdfunding, will be at this point is not really known yet. But according to the founders, it will always be some top-notch and technical, groundbreaking technology that the world is yet to see. So we will always be the pioneers.
Okay, but so there is a possibility it won't be, it won't be reached, or something will happen underway.
I think the biggest problem is that it will be reached too soon, and people will be sorry that they didn't act, because they will see that they missed out on something. I think we are in the stage of, when Bitcoin was under $1 and nobody really believed it, but then when they did, it wasn't $1 anymore. So I would not be too scared that we will not reach it. I will be more scared that a lot of people who would like to join, but are still waiting a little bit because they are a little bit, cautious. When they do find their courage, it will be too late. We will be in phase 2. So they would have missed this one.
So you mean you cannot join in phase 2, or it's
You
just...
can, but it will be a different project you will be sponsoring. You will no longer receive Endotech shares. And I don't know, from what Per Gunnar just said now, it will not be crypto, but I don't think he was right. I think that the Daisy AI will always be moving our funds between the different markets that we will be adding to the portfolio, depending on what will be the market conditions and depending on where they can make the most money, or spread it out to make it more safe. So the more we add, the better chance of investing for the highest rewards and the minimum risk. Because if you listen to Anna Becker, she actually says that cryptocurrency can have good months when it's good for trading, and then really not good months. And at the moment we don't have good months because it's too volatile, and even though it's the fact that it's up and down crazily is not really a trend. It's too much of everything, and the artificial intelligence will not go into this because it's too risky. So they are waiting for the things to become a little bit less crazy, and that means our money is waiting, and they don't want that. If we were in Forex already now, they would much more easily trade for us because it's a different dynamics of trading. But now this is a person who really is not a financial expert in any way. This is just me listening to a hell of a lot of their webinars and regurgitating what I heard now. So, it's just, it's new territory for all of us. And that's why I'm really happy to totally agree with Per Gunnar, that it's not a question of us. I mean, if I speak for myself, since Jiva kind of pulled me into this, and I'm following, first thing I bloody do when I wake up in the morning is put on my Clever. Oh, what happened during the night? And it's like, this is not a life I want. I want to give the money to Endotech and they can do with it. I don't want these emotions, and I don't want to be checking it all the time. It's not healthy for my heart. And, let the experts, and even though they are experts, they know that it should be the artificial intelligence that's not playing on emotions that's doing it for us, because it's too crazy. We are human beings with emotions, and it's hard not to get emotional when things are either too good or too bad. So, let AI do the decision work for us there. And since it's been doing a really good job of it since 2018, I think it's a pretty good one to trust.
But anyway, everyone, I see very nice faces here. Everyone is already inside among the 50,000 that managed to sign up. So we did pretty good, even though a lot of us didn't know what the hell we were doing. So it's
pioneers don't know what they're doing. Okay, anybody else wants to share something or ask something, or has a suggestion of how to, go forward and make the most of this?
As I said, Eva and Chiva. Fantastic meeting. I think the clarification you give us all today by joining the leader meeting, fantastic, because this clarification is a lot different of what we, or I, first thought about the matrix. So this is very, very important. And actually, I don't think there is anyone else in Norway that joined this meeting today that know exactly how the matrix works. So thank you.
Thank you. You know, Rune, I think the reason for that is very simple. The whole project is so complex that if you want to explain it into that much detail, it would take 2.5 hours. And there are not very many people who want to sit around and listen to an explanation for 2.5 hours and not get lost in it. And so it's been said, I mean, if I roll back, it says compressed, it says forced matrix, it says, you know, compressed up. We just didn't quite see it in graphical terms. What exactly does that mean? So I don't think anybody was misleading us or anything like that. Far from it. It's just we didn't interpret the information given, which was scarce because, you know, you need to get through the presentation in the correct way. So, you know, now we know. Well, thank Avi, you know, I think it's a big thank you to Avi, basically, for explaining it really, really well.
Can I ask, like, probably just trying to understand this, the whole structure and the point of what is the point of sponsors and such a like complicated, you know, system of matrices and tires? What's, you know, when the system is too complicated?
Well, I mean, you know, it's two things, Jana. Your personal sponsor matrix or your direct referral network will never change. And you will always get your 5% from them, irrespective. It doesn't matter whether you bought the tier that they bought, you get the 5% always. You will always get the uni-level trading bonus when they pay out the profits if you are qualified, and you are qualified for the first level always. So those two things are the most important things when it comes down to your personal referral. Whether you get the matrix bonus, so the big table with the 3 or 4% for 1 to 7 and 1.5 or 3% for the other ones, that one depends on whether you actually purchase that tier. And there, the rules of who falls under who change depending on the speed of when you purchase the tier. So it can all be completely shuffled around. In theory, like it will not happen because it has not happened, but in theory, if millions and millions and millions of people would join at the same time and all at a different speed, you could potentially have 88,000 different people in every single one of the 10 matrices. It will never happen, but potentially it could be, and all plays differently. And none of us really knows exactly where you are. I mean, so one thing is, you know, do your best for yourself together with the help of your team. So we can all help each other. And the second thing is that you should just, you know, see what happens. I mean, we will all get spillover in some way or another, in some matrix or another. It will be different. I mean, rely on yourself and hope for the best.
The fun part, we don't know. It's a mystery.
Yay! Jiva will do the detective work again as soon as we open. She'll be like, yeah, I know where it is. I know where it is. No.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
So, thank you, Eva. It's amazing. I'm impressed to see how you wrap your mind around all of this and speak with such clarity and focus. Amazing. On the other hand of that, I just got this idea to suggest because my problem is this thing with referring to people. I've referred one, and I haven't done anything else since then. And I admit that I have a problem with this explaining, and even, you know, like something strange for me with this movement of trying to get people involved for some reason. So I got this idea, now maybe I can offer 10% of my future earnings for someone who wants to do that for me or something, to put in my legs, because I basically I suck at it, you know. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to, you know, this is my honest problem.
We'll make a plan for Hard Dance, how to get everyone in Hard Dance to join Daisy.
Daisy Hard Dance.
And I did
online, you know, and just, you know, do, no, but Ellen, I think,
but it's connected. I can share just a little bit something else, because it's connected to someone I spoke to that just I was curious to hear his version, just because he's on the total other side. He's totally against this, doesn't believe in it. He thinks it's schemes, and he's looked into all these people, Endotech and Anna Beck, and the history of the Nigerian guy and everyone. And he says that they're all coming from fraud, and that they will, when it's like on the peak, they will all take it out and close and disappear and bye-bye. And I'm listening and say, yeah, it could be, you know, and luckily I only put like, what was it, $300 in. So it's like, I know that it's like, I don't know, you know, I follow because I trust Jiva's energy and excitement, and that feels fun, so I trust it. The rest, I don't really know if it goes here or if it goes there, but I prefer to trust than to not trust. But I really don't know how to bring people in, you know. So that's it. Thank you for listening.
you're welcome. Do you want to answer, or do you want me to answer?
No.
No. Okay.
I mean, I don't know how to bring people in. I just
You brought everyone.
I think first thing
You keep on bringing everyone all the time. It's like, yeah, just.
And I think the first thing, Ellen, is nobody knows. I think even the founders cannot guarantee. And the first thing they say is there is no guarantee, because there is no guarantee that the world will be as it is today tomorrow. I'm sorry, we're living in a completely crazy world right now. Mm-hmm. So first thing is, you don't put the money in that you need tomorrow for food. That's, I think, number one. Second thing is, what are your beliefs about money? Do you have to work hard for your money, or can you possibly allow the money to start working for you? And if you're not quite sure where you are, find a position in the middle somewhere. Mm. And, you know, Jiva is great at the trust part and at the let's bring some fun part, and let's just, you know, see what happens when things are not certain. I'm much better at working things out in detail and wrapping my head around it. And that's why I've had a headache since yesterday evening when I first heard about this, because it was like, no, this doesn't make any sense to me, until Avi explained it, because I felt that was the case, but it was different to what I thought originally. And so I think when it comes to inviting people, I would just say, you know, people ask you, what are you doing? And you can say, well, you know, I've been kind of invited to a crazy thing, which I want to see where it leads, you know, like it's pioneering, it's new, it's never been done before, it attracted my attention. I want to see if the money is willing to work for me for once. And so I've put in something, and these are the results. If you want to try, I have no idea how to explain to you exactly how this works, because it's too complex. But what I can do is I can invite you to a seminar where somebody who seems to understand what this is all about can explain it to you, because they explained it to me. And this is where you either invite them to Avi's seminar. He has them in all the languages and is totally open to anybody joining, cross-line, overline, borderline, whatever. Or we start making our own. I mean, if you guys bring people, I will gladly make seminars. This is, for me, fun, but I don't enjoy talking to myself. I like to see a full screen. So you bring the people, just by saying, go and listen to a crazy woman from Slovenia who loves doing this.
Okay.
And I'll do the bullshitting.
Wow.
Okay?
Cool. I'm glad I asked.
By the way,
And you will do the fun part.
no, but by the way, this person, I don't know who you refer to, but I have an idea who you refer to, this person that said this was bollocks. Anyway, Anna Becker is not someone who does not exist. She's coming to Slovenia actually
in 1 month
to have to this Institute for Artificial Intelligence in Slovenia, and I guess she'll go to dinner with Eva. I can imagine.
Most likely there will be a webinar with Anna Becker. I actually told Avi about this today, and I said, by the way, if she does come in person, because of course it depends on the restrictions of COVID, but hopefully this should be the 3rd week of April. So if she does come, there is no way that I will not meet her for sure. But you know, if she doesn't, and it's going to be like, I mean, in the like how we are talking now, then that might be more difficult. But if she will be here, I said to Avi, you can fly over. You can all fly over. We'll put you. You can all meet her in person. So you know, that's also, yeah, exactly what Jiva says. This is a company that has a track record from 2018. I mean, 2018 exactly. That's like what? In crypto, and from 2012 in Forex and commodities. If you look at their Telegram channel, the lowest any of their algorithms has made is plus 50% yearly return on investment, lowest. Many of them are over 2000% per year. And the goal is to improve the performance by 4 times. I mean, they said, if we don't make 300% every half a year for you, you know, the numbers are so big that it's like difficult to wrap your head around, but they are not guaranteeing it. But, you know, is the chance that I put, I don't know, $10,000 in Bitcoin at the moment that it will go up for 15% and then sell it at the moment before it drops down 30% again, bigger than if I allow them to trade those $10,000 for me? What's more likely that, you know, will be the winning pathway for me? Well, I think I'll go with Endotech. But yeah, I mean, if you want to play with your money and earn, there is some risk. I mean, Anna Becker says high risk, high return. You want to keep it safe, you can't put it in bank, because in Slovenia they will actually start charging us for having money in the bank next month. So that's gone out of the window. Gold dropped. Property, well, you know, yeah, I've got it, but it also carries a lot of cost and a lot of organizing and a lot of, you know, my toilet's leaking. Can you please come and fix it? Ugh. You know, it's just where everybody has to decide for themselves where they are and how they want their money to work for them. But if you want some of it, to play with it. And I think that's the way, you know, we shouldn't be promising anybody anything. This is like, I think we are at the stage that nobody really knows what tomorrow is going to bring. So I want to put eggs in different baskets. And this one is for sure one where I feel it's a good nest for my eggs.
An exciting
one. And also, you know, it's just, I mean, it's the community that we're building and the fact that we are working on this together and that we can help each other and that one day we will be able to travel again and actually be together and stuff. You know, it's just, it's much more fun than the sort of work that I used to do.